There was a press conference held today, August 9th, 2022, for Kiely Rodni. So I was going to play that here now. Welcome to Left Undone.
Hey guys, you guys be careful. Everything's just kind of dangled there, so be careful.
Where's 8? Channel 8?
Sorry?
Where's Channel 8? Their mic's falling.
Channel 8, your mic's falling. Channel 8.
Yeah, we got it.
And channel, your mic.
Just put it.
We're good.
It'll work.
Oh.
You want to fix your mic? Good afternoon. My name is Angela Musalam. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Placer County Sheriff's Office. We're here today to provide an update on 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. Because this is an active investigation, we'll only be providing information on certain set information and facts. We realize there will be more questions, but we're please directing anybody to contact our Unified Command Center through our tip line, and we will help answer those questions as best we can. And for the operational and investigative side of the investigation into Kiely Rodni, I'd first like to introduce Placer County Sheriff's Detective Sergeant Scott Alford.
First of all, thank you everybody for coming out. This is an amazing community. We appreciate the support from the family. We appreciate everybody's concern. Just to let you know, from the investigation side on the missing persons investigation, we are working with local, state, and federal agencies. We're using every tactic we can to try to get any information that might help further our investigation. Any tip that comes in, we're taking all the tips from the tip line, from any means, whether it's emailed, called in, through the conversations with kids that we met with here at the community center. Those are all being chronologically put into our tip spreadsheet, and we're addressing those, prioritizing them, and we're taking a look at every single line. So no, we don't. If you think you have information and you don't know if it's relevant, we want it. We want any information because we'll follow up on any and every lead that we can. Obviously, we have to prioritize them so that we can focus our resources. And so those who had firsthand contact with Kiely, who interacted with her near the time that she was last seen, those take priority. But we're looking at, video that people were sending in, anything. We're looking at timestamps so we can create the best timeline possible, take all that information, and we're committing all the resources we can to follow up.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Nevada County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Hack, who will be speaking more on the search and rescue efforts surrounding the search for Kiely.
Thank you, Sergeant Dennis Ack, Search and Rescue Coordinator for the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. I want to let you know at this time we have over 16 agencies involved in our search effort. In the field right now, we have over 100 volunteers. Those volunteers are searching on foot. We're using canines. We're using vehicles, including motorcycles, UTVs, Jeeps, and such. We're using air assets to assist in the search, and we're also searching on the water using boats. As of this meeting right now, we've logged over 1,500 man-hours in our effort. We received information on Saturday of the initiation of the missing persons report. We moved into a unified command with Placer County and started conducting a search and rescue operation in Nevada County. Throughout Saturday and Sunday, the incident was handled by Placer County and Nevada County. As the event expanded, we reached out to partners at the state level and also federally to assist us in the search. Search and rescue operates off of the information that we have available to us. The way that we develop that information and design our search areas and our objectives is based off of the clues that we receive from the field while we're searching. And the second way that we receive our information is through the development of the investigation. What we need is the community's help in assisting with providing that information on the investigation. And what I would encourage you to do is, if you have that information, we need the information from the community. We need you to take advantage of that tip line and provide us with additional information. Thank you.
And now we're going to have a brief comment from the FBI. I'd like to introduce Supervisory Senior Resident Agent Forrestel.
Good afternoon. The FBI has and continues to take instances where the most vulnerable in our society are victimized, and we're very happy that we're able to come alongside and partner with Placer County Sheriff's Department, Nevada County Sheriff's Department. We've been part of the full investigative team. As of today, we had approximately 50 other agents up here helping run down some of those priority informations and leads that have come through. We're going to continue to partner with both agencies as we see this through. So thank you for your time.
Now I'd like to introduce Placer County Sheriff's Captain Troy Sander and Nevada County Sheriff's Office Captain Sam Brown, who have both been in charge of the Unified Command since we have learned of Kiely's disappearance.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sam Brown. I'm a captain with the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. First off, I really just want to say thank you for the partnership that we've had in our unified command. Placer County is always a great partner and helps us out quite a bit and is able to help us expand in the abilities of what we can do in a situation like this. I mean, there's so many agencies to list realistically, but Truckee Police Department, CHP, the FBI, I mean, the list goes on, and we have a lot of people that are here giving support and folks in the field. Between our 100 or 150-ish law enforcement officials, we have about 100 searchers in the field, and people such as yourselves that are coming out and providing all the community support. That's really what's going to be needed to help to hopefully find some clues or some solutions on where we're at and how do we move forward. I think the biggest message I can say is that we're leaving no stone unturned. We're really working as hard as we possibly can. Teams are tired, much like the family, and we're trying to do our best so that we're supporting the family. We try to meet with them regularly and make sure that they have our contact information, and we're trying to be as transparent as possible and continue on in our investigation and our search. Again, I just really want to thank everybody for the partnership, and that we're going to continue working throughout this process and hopefully come up with some positive news that we can bring back to all of you.
Thank you. Troy Sander, Placer Sheriff. We're all here for one reason, and we appreciate the community support. We care. Many of us are parents. We're involved. We're committed, and we will stay committed. I want to reiterate our relationship with Nevada County Sheriff's Office, the FBI. We really appreciate their help. They've come in to help us streamline this process, make it more efficient, make sure we're doing the right things based on best practices. So thank you very much to them. I'd also like to thank the California Highway Patrol for allowing us to house our operations center here, for wanting to be close to the trucking community, more importantly, to be close to the family. So I leave you with a point that I want everyone to know. There's a lot of information coming out there. A lot of people are asking questions. If you have to ask yourself whether or not you should share some information about what happened, you've already answered the question. No information is too small. Every piece of information we're going to put together to build a puzzle, to continue to push forward, to allow the machine to turn. We're not going to back down. We're 100% committed. And I appreciate the community coming out here. Please keep the family in mind. Realize that when you inundate them with a lot of social media stuff, that a lot of it that's out not to be true, we need you to push that information to the tip line. Let the detectives do the work. Let this family try to work through this process they're going through. So I want to appreciate, again, my partners in this endeavor, and we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Phoebe Bell with the Department of Behavioral Health will now be providing a brief comment about how her department is supporting Kylie's family and the community at large.
Hi, all. Phoebe Bell, I'm the Behavioral Health Director for Nevada County, but also a Truckee resident for 30 years, and I raised my children here too, and I am wanting to acknowledge right now how painful and hard this time is for everybody. Every single person here is here because you care about our community, about this family, about this young person, about all our young people. And in that vein, I really want to encourage us all to model for ourselves and each other how to best care for ourselves during this hard time. Please talk about how you're feeling. Acknowledge that you might be having a hard time sleeping, or that it's bringing up a lot of fear and anxiety for you. Reach out for help. We have a team of therapists here. They have orange lanyards around their neck. They're over there. They're here to talk to you and support you. Maybe you need some advice about how to talk to your young people about what's going on and how to manage your anxiety about their safety. Whatever it is that you need right now, please reach out. That's the best way we can care for ourselves in this really hard time, and how we can care for each other and care for this family and to bring Kiely home safely. Immediately after this, we will have a room in the rec center where therapists will be, and they'll be conducting more of a group debrief, which is a great way to work through the trauma of a time like this. And so please, if you're interested, go on in and visit that group. But again, this is the best of our community at the hardest of times for our community. Having us all come together and do everything in our power to try to help is a beautiful thing. Please heed the advice of the law enforcement professionals leading this effort. I want to call out our teen community, who has just been beyond amazing in how they've rallied to this moment, and to encourage them to keep coming forward with their information. And take care of yourselves during this hard time. We're all here for each other.
We'll continue sending out any updates as we get them. We plan to send out any potential updates and additional information tomorrow morning in a press release. We can't stress this enough. Out of the 200 to 300 juveniles and young adults who were at that party at the Prosser Campground Friday evening, somebody knows something about Kiely. We're please urging and pleading with the community to please come forward. You will remain anonymous. Please contact us through our tip line. That number is 530-581-6320, option 7. Any bit of information can help lead us to Kiely so we can bring her home safely to her family. The 2 captains and the FBI will be available for any questions should you have them.
Angela, how many tips at this point have you received? I know as the update yesterday was more than 100. Is there an update on that?
We still have over 100 tips that our detectives are working through. They're exhausting every single tip and lead. Unfortunately, we still cannot locate Kiely or her vehicle. That's why we are urging anybody who was at that party that evening to please come forward. We need to find Kiely.
Angela, another question for you. Unfortunately, people in our region and NorCal go missing. It's so rare to see this incredible other
We want to leave no stone unturned. We take this case, just like any other missing persons case, extremely seriously. Kiely's considered to be highly at risk right now because she is a minor and she is missing, and we cannot locate her or her vehicle. We want to thank everybody who has helped us thus far, our law enforcement partners, the community, people who have come forward anonymously to try and lead us to her. And we will continue to leave no stone unturned until we bring Kiely home to her family.
Now that we have federal resources, are we able to do anything more with her cell phone and find where it came after the party? Are those resources helping?
Those details are under investigation. Unfortunately, I cannot discuss them, but please be rest assured, our detectives are doing everything in their power to try and locate Kiely.
Can I ask why?
Sure.
I'll speak to that last question a little bit. So we are working with the FBI right now. The last information we have from cellular data is the 6th at 33 minutes after midnight. All of the tips, and we have over 200 now that we're working, and we're getting a lot of tips that are duplicates. So that's why it's important that it comes in through the tip line, so we don't have people duplicating resources. But we are looking at all that information. We're having multiple different departments look at that information with different resources, but nothing has expanded beyond that timeline at this point.
Can you talk a little bit more in your investigation when people post things on social media that may not be true, how that's impacting your investigation and your family? There were false reports last night that her vehicle had been located.
So again, we will prioritize those tips. If something comes in and it seems like a high priority, we're going to throw resources at it. We'll divert resources to address that, to check the veracity of it. And if it ends up being a false tip, I don't want to say that to discourage people from bringing information in. We don't want you necessarily to have to weigh the veracity of the tips. If you have information you think is pertinent, send it to us. We have a lot of people that are just focused on gathering, organizing, triaging, and disseminating resources. So allow us to deal with those tips.
We've been out to the campsite a few times, and the campers said that they saw you guys yesterday morning, today, earlier in the morning. What areas are you guys concentrating on today?
So a lot of this is going to be focused at the search and rescue effort. This is a multifaceted investigation, but so we are working in conjunction with them. But we do also have detectives working with search and rescue. Obviously, the last location known, our search expands from there. And then if we get a tip about another location, we will divert resources and work that to exhaustion. But primarily, we're looking at the last known location. We're expanding beyond there. We're starting with, vehicles, OHVs. They're using all those resources down to, foot patrols, aircraft. I mean, every resource that we can utilize, we are.
And there were no surveillance cameras in that campground, were there?
No. And we are accepting video from people who are involved. So that's coming into a single source so that team can evaluate it, look through the video, surveillance video from other areas. We did actually have some surveillance video from the store at 6 o'clock the day before that showed Kiely. And so we have that information. But again, it doesn't expand our timeline. It doesn't really tell us anything that we didn't know. But still, it's great. It confirms a timeline that we already have. No, we've been working with the state. Currently, an Amber Alert has not been sent out, but we've utilized a lot of other resources that are even wider reaching than the Amber Alert system. And so we're working with multiple agencies. We've sent bulletins out to local law enforcement agencies, nationwide resources. And if the criteria is met, if we get a tip that points us in that direction that will meet the criteria, we're going to continue to work with the state. If that becomes appropriate, then we will utilize that resource as well. All those resources to be able to recognize her or her vehicle at borders or any sort of location where we can track people and vehicles. Those resources are all being utilized. I don't want to speak to the exact criteria of the Amber Alert, but we're looking at the Amber Alert is a system for notification with suspected child abduction. Right now, we don't have any evidence that supports an abduction. Like you said, we're not ruling anything out, and that's why we're kind of pulling out all the stops. If this was a hiker and they were known to be in an area, that would be a search and rescue effort because we're searching a very specific area. Because we don't know, we just have that timeline, we're considering everything. So,
You're not officially saying that this is
no, but we're not ruling that or any other. We have the same fears and concerns that any of the members of the community and the family have. So we won't rule any possibility out.
So at this point, are you still investigating this as an abduction? Is that terminology correct?
No, it doesn't. The terminology is that we're just investigating this. This is a missing persons case. This is a search and rescue effort. We are investigating using every resource under the umbrella of resources that we have access to. So what we title it is kind of irrelevant. We're doing everything we can.
You have hundreds of teenagers here right now who may be nervous to go talk to someone like you because folks were drinking and partying and having fun. Hearing from you, what is your message for the crowd? If there's someone who knows something, there's a fear about their future, getting into college, things like that. What's your message?
So when we spoke to a large group of the kids here at the community center, we made it clear we are not investigating their conduct that night. Okay, if you want to report anonymously, if you heard information from a friend and that friend doesn't want to come forward, please come forward on behalf of your friend and tell us that information. So we are not investigating you. We are partnering with you to receive any information to help find Kylie.
We're only taking 2 more questions at this time. Sir?
Can you talk about the acreage that's been covered in canvas at this point?
Unfortunately, the search is still underway, and we don't want to compromise any part of the investigation, so we can't discuss that.
Have the highways leading in and out of this area also been searched just in case?
Absolutely. They've been searched on the ground and aerially from the air.
How difficult is it being so close to the border with Nevada and Washoe County? Each agency works really well together because of search and rescues during the winter or that stuff. But how difficult is it just being able to cross that border or finding resources to partner with such dense areas around the area?
I think that we're fortunate to have technology on our side in all reality to deal with some of those pieces of locating, say, a license plate, things of that nature. But in relation to Placer in Nevada County, it's been pretty fluid and things have been going pretty well on that end. As far as crossing state lines and things of that nature, it can be more like in a geographical border. We put everything in place that we can for location of the vehicle. And if there's something where somebody knows where she's at or has information, that's what we're needing to put something together. And our hope is that we'll get some sort of piece of information from doing stuff like this and people in the community that really care and want to have some help in solving this.
We'd like to wrap up the press conference now, as we'd like to get our first responders out to continue the search for Kylie, as that remains our top priority. Both captains will be available for any additional questions. You can come up to them and you can speak to them if you want. Thank you.
So that was the press conference from today, August 9th, 2022. And they kind of clarified that it's not necessarily an abduction. It's just a missing person. It doesn't matter how it's labeled, but she's missing and they're looking for her. And we will keep you updated. Thanks for watching Left Undone and Complete Investigations. I'm Kathryn.